Welcome to Mornings with Matt,
That's a cool move.
personal and professional development training that connects the art of acting with critical life skills and self-mastery. Presented by the Deering Acting Studio.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mornings with Matt. I am so excited this morning because we are talking with one of Arizona's brand new agents on the market. Coming up, Sierra Guthrie with Priority Talent Agency, and I gotta say, we love these people. In our castings, your talent is killing it. You're amazing. We love communicating with you. You're always nice. It's like it's nice. It's incredible. We are fans of Priority Talent Agency. Hello, good morning, Sierra.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Y'all are gonna make me cry at 7 in the morning. Thank you so much. It's amazing to hear those very kind words, and I'm glad we're doing such a great job. And
you really are, yeah. And I took a peek at your website this morning just to see, how you've progressed, and you really have. I mean, there's some amazing talent on the website, and it's like there are people that you go, these people need work. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Hello. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm very excited. We are expanding day by day, and even through COVID and its challenges that it's brought, being a newer agency, I've seen so much growth and so much success, and we're not stopping here. We have a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of work being done. So I'm glad that you guys are having me today to kind of talk and touch on those things. But thank you so much.
Absolutely, and we will be spreading the word. I have a feeling that you're going to be getting some calls, and there's going to be some people trying to get in with the agency, and it's not like it's not guaranteed. You got to work for it. Right. But we've got a lot of talent here at the school as well that are unrepresented, and if you are interested in an agency, reach out to Priority Talent Agency, because right now they are looking for the best people in town to sign.
Please do. Our phones are always going to be answered. So email us, go on our website, fill out a submission form. We love to see your work. And even if you're not as experienced as some others, we definitely like to focus on some development too. And we always recommend Deering Acting Studios and other acting workshops and trainings in the area, just because we know how important it is to hone your skills and hone your talent and always be practicing. And it's like a sport, you have to go in and practice. You can't just jump into something and think you're going to be a star. So
yeah, it's interesting. We've had a few connections to the NFL recently. There's just some people here. So like, Kurt Warner came through, and we have this kid from Michigan State.
Matt Siebert.
Big tight end from Michigan State, who's working to get onto the Cardinals right now. But it's just interesting when you're surrounded by these next level athletes, and even just next level successful people. They get it and they understand, and they're getting coached still at the highest level. They're getting coached then by the hardest coaches, because they know that's what it takes. And there is this thing in acting that's, for some reason, in modeling, that people think, it doesn't take all that you're just going to go to a school and put them on your resume. And it's like, you can put me on your resume all you want. You got to have talent. When you show up, you better be skillful, or you're not going to book the job.
And it's even beyond just the talent. It's having the right attitude, right? It's about being positive and realizing that it's not going to happen overnight. Just like our agency didn't happen overnight, your success isn't going to be something that you just get. It's not luck. You have to go out there and hustle and be scrappy and do the right things and make the right connections, and have just the right attitude about it. No negativity, right? Always gonna be positive and forward thinking.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of failure in this industry. You go on a casting or an audition, and it may not work in your favor, and then you have self-doubt. So that's something that we try to get away from. We want to think positive, think forward, and always learn from your failure, or from your mistakes, or from your past auditions. So.
That's great. And we do some training with the Miss USA pageant winners from Arizona and Utah. Usually when they win, they come to us and they get trained up before they go nationally. And we have seen such a connection with the modeling world as well, and thought life and acting. They're complete parallels. And I was thinking of this because I saw your great modeling portfolio on your website, and I just had this thing happen to me yesterday that proves the skill of a model. So I was on Adobe Stock Photos. Have you seen that? It's just like fun to go on there. So I was looking for different things for a little advertisement we were doing, and I'm clicking on different models, and there were two people in particular that I clicked on them, and I was like, whoa, this, like, for one was a guy, and I'm like, this dude can model. Like he had like 50 different looks that were really unique, and the way he can manipulate his face, like super handsome guy, I can just say that. And I used him and I used him for a nerdy photo because he did something funny with his face, and I was able to use him to tell a story that I wanted to tell about actors with eyebrows and eyebrow acting. And anyway, it was just interesting because this guy like really knew how to model, and there's a difference there, because you'll see other models on Adobe Stock, and there'll be 3 or 4 photos of them, and that's pretty much that's their range, so understanding that it's a never-ending learning process. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, never-ending learning process. And even with modeling, it's you may be beautiful. But that doesn't make it any easier when you're in front of a camera and you have to sell something, or you have to evoke an emotion. And I even tell some of my models to take some trainings and some workshops just to bring that out and help you perform better on camera. And so always practicing your faces, your angles, your lighting, just turning on your camera and watching yourself go, hitting them angles, that kind of thing. It's always something that you can learn and get better at. Nobody is perfect at these things, and even like some of the supermodels, they practice and they get better.
Yeah, and I would say too, just living in Arizona or any smaller market, I would never pigeonhole myself into being a model only. Like I would go, okay, great. If I've got the look, cool, I'm going to book some print ads and whatnot, but why don't I jump into this other world? Because a lot of times the commercials are non-speaking sometimes, or reactions. And if you can't do those things, you'll miss out. But you might have this great look, and then you just don't quite get the job, which stinks.
Yeah, our bread and butter here in Arizona is commercial work. So I submit my talent for all things. And a lot of it is non-speaking, and a lot of it is improv and just showing emotion and things like that. So I tell my talent, treat every opportunity like it's the one that you really want, because at the end of the day, you never know who are in these rooms. You never know who's going to be on set, who may refer you to the next person, who may get you on a runway in New York. You never know. So treat every opportunity like it's the one you want. And these are good paying opportunities. Yeah, they are. So I'm submitting you for it.
Okay, so I love hearing about people's stories here. So we're gonna backtrack a little bit, and I'd love for you, while you tell your story, maybe to give your perception on this, because I know you talked about it in your intro here, which was that you believe in constant, never-ending growth and in learning to be a better agent. You're always looking and finding readings and how to get better, right? So if you could include that in your story, but I'm very curious. So you were an actor here in Arizona first, is that right? Actress model? No, you weren't? Okay.
Not an actress.
What? What? Get out of here. Are you serious? Are you serious? Because
I'm so serious.
You should be signed. You should be signed with Priority Talent Agency. Just.
So I got my start. I interned at a local agency. I just had graduated from Xavier University in Cincinnati with a sport management degree. So I had that degree, and I worked in sports for a little bit, but I ended up interning at an agency local here, a great agency, and I learned so much. And just from the start to the finish of a project, so the bidding phases, sending out booking notices, submitting talent, the whole thing, and then seeing a final project come to life, that was very exciting for me, and I took to it, and I kind of found a passion for it. So it was very exciting. And it was one of those moments where I had to turn off the voice of what I think I should be doing, what other people think I should be doing with my degree and that kind of thing, and really listen to God's voice in my head. And that's what led me on this path of launching Priority. And while I was at that agency, I always noticed that it was difficult for us to submit a lot of diversity, and that's no knock to them. They're, like I said, fantastic agency, but we would get a breakdown that would call for 2 Caucasian men, 2 Asian men, and we would have 25, 30 Caucasian men to submit and only 2 or 3 Asian men. So I saw the holes. I saw that there was a need for more talent on your roster that can provide that diversity and the different looks and more minority groups. So that's what Priority is all about. In short, I wanted to bring on the change that I wanted to see in the film and commercial industry. And I wanted to give more access to minorities. So it's always hard getting your foot in the door and knowing somebody that can get you those opportunities. So I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be scrappy. I wanted to do the work and really provide these opportunities for those in my community that maybe look like me, because I know what it's like to be the minority in classrooms and in businesses and at networking events. So I know how uncomfortable it can be, and there are difficult conversations to have. So I wanted to be that resource for my talent. Now, with always getting better and becoming a better agent, I really do believe in peer-to-peer networking and learning from your friends or your family, because I have a ton of friends who've started their own businesses, who are lawyers, who are doctors, and it's always refreshing to talk to them and to learn from them and see what worked for their business and what could work for mine, and getting ideas, and always just refreshing yourself as a businesswoman. So I wholeheartedly believe in going to your friends and seeing what they're up to and seeing how they can really sharpen you and get you better for your industry and what you're working with.
Awesome. That's incredible. And you know what? This is just such a neat story. So you're trailblazing, really, and you were hitting the ground here, just in time, because all of a sudden the whole world was like, "Yep, we agree."
Hello.
Hello. So well done with the timing there. Very good. There's always a little bit of luck involved with these huge success stories, and you're about to be one. There's no doubt.
Thank you.
So tell me about some of the struggles when you're trying to form the agency and trying to gain respect. I mean, I know you even knocked down our doors like 4 or 5 times, and let me tell you, you're not the only one. We get calls from agents all the time, like new agent, soon this, and we're always like, okay, we don't know who's who really means it, who's gonna like stand the test of time and who's gonna really stick it out. So we don't love to just we'll just take anybody. Like we can't do that, and so you earned your spot, 100% with us. Like we're gonna request you every time. That's a guarantee.
Thank you. It's like music to my ears. Thank you so much. And I hear those same sentiments from other casting directors and other industry leaders here in Arizona. Like, we see agents come and go, and they don't last, and it's just more work for us and that kind of thing. And I really wanted to build a solid foundation before I just went out here and tried this thing. Before I launched Priority in September of 2019, I was working at it for 2 years, like building a foundation, going to networking events, meeting the right people, sending out emails like, hey, I might start this, be on the lookout, that kind of thing. I'm just trying to garner some support, and the support from my family was there, my friends, my boyfriend. So that really pushed me to get it going. Some of the difficulties I've had, I think a lot of them were internal. And with that is just a little bit of self-doubt and like, what if this doesn't work out? And what if nobody buys into it? And I'm going up against these agency giants who've been here for decades, and they have a formula and they have a book of business and what works. Like, how am I going to get that? And with that being said, I'm getting it. And it's by the grace of God. Like you said, like, this time in our society, how more diversity and inclusion are hot buttons and everybody's trying to get with the times. Like, I was already thinking, like, I know this is going to be a need, and I know that this is a gap that can be filled in this market, and we're going to be there, and we're going to provide the best talent, the best minorities, and that's not just to say a black and white thing. It's also LGBTQ. It's also curve models. It's also everybody who doesn't check the traditional box of what a model looks like or what an actor, actress looks like or sounds like. So that's what we really focus on. So I don't think we've had any challenges on the outside because we've seen such great success. Let me knock on wood. But there were some internal struggles that I was going on in my mind. Like, what if this doesn't work out? And what am I going to fall back on? And all this money I spent, that kind of thing. So.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but we've been in business now since January 2007.
Yeah.
And probably once a week, I still think to myself, like, am I going to make it?
Yeah. 100%.
That never ends.
It never ends.
That's a forever thing.
As a business owner, it's just like, you feel like you're always hanging off a cliff a little bit.
Gosh. Well, yeah, but like I said, I have such a passion for this, and I get so excited about this kind of stuff, and like just getting auditions and putting things like emails together to let them know, like, well, this is what you wear, this is what time your call time, this is your call sheet, that kind of thing. Like those things like make me excited to get up and do it. So I always encourage people to really find your passion. That's a real thing because it doesn't feel like work. So
yeah, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to answer a couple of your questions here, and then we'll kind of kick it back and forth a little bit.
We got some live ones as well.
Oh, we have some live questions.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, we'll get to a live question here in a minute.
Woo.
So talking about the casting process, and this is another just example of why you're so needed. Because the truth is, and I just I'm going to explain the casting process to everybody who doesn't understand necessarily. So the way it works is these big ad agencies get hired, and an ad agency then will say, okay, we are going after a particular demographic, and sometimes they're literally marketing to like a zip code or something. So if they're looking for like Native Americans, it's because they're specifically targeting that area, and they want, they want to see Native Americans on TV. That's the idea. So then they'll send us the breakdown, and they'll say, okay, we need X amount of these actors. And to your point, when we would be requesting the minority actors, it was always a struggle. It was always a struggle to get a good, comprehensive, like a lot of actors coming in, because the agencies just didn't have a lot of them.
yeah.
So that was always a struggle. So now, and I'm trying to figure out why that is, So what's amazing now is like you're gonna have to go out there, which you are doing now, but you have to now let the world know, hey, there's this agency available to you. If you've got talent, don't hide it in your bedroom. Come and train and get better and get out there because the market needs you. Like the market is dying for more minority actors. It really is.
Absolutely.
So that's how the casting process works. So then to answer one of your other questions, has it been something for us where we've had to sort of remind the client of diversity and that kind of thing? I'd say yes, a little bit, but for the most part, we've been super lucky here. And the casting division of what we do has been around for about 5 years, and the clients that we have worked with have been very inclusive. So usually, almost every time they say, okay, we want across the board, give me diversity, we want to see everybody, and we want to cast the best talent, and yet we actually don't want 2 Caucasians, we want it to be diverse. So we've had the fortunate time in our business of being able to work with people who actually kind of get that. So yeah.
Good. And I want that to be everybody's experience, where you have clients who are so open to trying new things and untraditional talent, and really focusing on that too. And especially with the times, I know marketing is going to get so different. Like, for example, I know Band-Aid is committed to coming out with different shades of skin tone Band-Aids.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
Today, like dark skins just dropped last week. You know what I mean? So I know like just more big brands and companies are trying to get on this wave of being inclusive and things like that. So that's my hope, that everybody has that same experience where they're open to more diversity.
Yeah,
in their
and I know that hasn't necessarily always been the case, you know, and so I don't want to speak into something that I don't know about really, but I understand obviously that there are issues and there have been major holdbacks, and I know specifically one actress who I love dearly, who has been a student of ours for a very long time. I didn't know this, but she was hanging out with my wife, and she's African American, and she told my wife she heard from an agent that said, essentially, there is just no work for you.
Oh.
I know, and I was like, take the knife out of my. I'm telling you. By the way, I actually direct messaged her and told her to watch the show because I'm like, I know.
Work for you.
Oh my, you will just die for this girl.
Fantastic.
So anyway, I heard that story and I was like you have no. She's so beautiful, so talented, and she's literally second guessing whether or not she belongs and should keep doing this, and it's like.
Yeah, it's frustrating, right? It's so frustrating. And like I said earlier, it's all about having that access and connection with the right person to let you know that your dreams can happen. Like there is work for you. And I'm kind of upset that somebody would tell them that.
And you know what? You never know how it's coming, right? So it was probably from love and ignorance and something weird, and they were trying to like make her feel good or something somehow, like right? So
we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I try to. But at the same time, it's like wow, like wake up because your words do matter, and
they do.
And you hold on to something, and you're like, man, like you said this thing, and even if you didn't mean it the certain way, like. You said it, and now I'm holding on to this thing for a long time, trying to get over. You might have ended somebody's career prematurely because you accidentally said something ignorant.
Right. I totally agree. And I hope that that she's still out here and working and doing the right things to really get these opportunities. And don't let something like that hold you back. If people would have told me that I wouldn't have been able to start Priority and not listen to them, then this wouldn't have happened. Like beautiful things can happen, especially if you have a passion and you're doing the right things to achieve them. So, like I said, call me, girl.
I think she will. I got a feeling she will. Okay, let's go to some questions online, Brian.
Okay, let's see here. So we've got from Farah, not Farah. She would like to know. She was very specific about it. I absolutely love it. And she said, how do you get into modeling if you are interested? So like if you're starting out, you're kind of interested in doing it, you don't know what to do. Like what are some of the first steps that you would say or advise someone to do?
I would say do your research. Lots of research. There like big agencies here in Arizona, and I always tell talent that each agent brings something different to the table and can match a personality a certain way. Some are more business transactional, some are more personal, some are they have large women's boards, and some are boutique style. So whatever fits your need. And I would say if you're just starting out, I would start out with an agency like ours. Like we're a boutique style agency, so we like to focus on having a small group of talent and helping them achieve their goals, so we can put all our focus and attention on that group of people. Especially if you're just starting out, you're pretty green, and just having a conversation with the agent. Like you can always just hit them up and see what you need to do. I would say do not go out and spend thousands of dollars on portfolios. That's not something people should be doing. Right. Especially with so much technology today, you can literally practice and get good camera photos from an iPhone, and just really, like I said earlier, finding your lighting, finding your angles, really working yourself in the mirror, just getting better and practicing. And YouTube is such a huge resource. Like there's so many videos on like how to model and how to walk and what to wear when you go to castings and go-sees, that kind of thing. So just use all of your resources and do all of your research before you jump into trying to get signed by an agent.
Love it. Awesome.
Great advice. And I'm going to jump on that too, because we get asked a similar question all the time, like who should we sign with or whatnot. And first of all, knock on wood here, we don't have any.
There's one up there.
Yeah. Hey, Joey's got it. Joey's got us.
You know, so we're an acting school, and we have a casting whole department here, and so all of the legitimate acting or legitimate agencies in town, talent agencies, do recommend us. So we don't just say like you should go, like we don't pick for you. But what we like to do is give the information. So we provide, hey, here are the agents that we believe are reputable and who do a good job. Then from there, it's up to you with your research. So as you start to learn more about each agency, you'll tell, like they each have their own sort of like feel. And then my big piece of advice for everybody is when you go and sit down with an agent, you get a gut feeling. Follow it, listen to it. That's the spirit inside of you telling you what's right. And so it doesn't matter the size of the agency, like none of that matters. It's like if I sit down with the person and I connect to them, do I believe that they really desire to have me be a part of their roster? Like, is there a connection here where I think, and it doesn't need to be like we're best friends, by the way. It just needs to be, right? Because you don't want that. No. Instead, it's like, do I feel like this person believes in me and is going to put me out there? And if that's the case, then boom, then try it. And yeah, so and then the other thing about modeling is just like go for it too. So you're asking the right questions. That's good. Now just start like put one foot in front of the other and just take that first step.
I want to continue with that's really, really great advice, but I also want potential models to be realistic as well. If you're 5'5" and you want to be on a runway, it may not happen. So just think about your stats and your sizing and kind of do your research that way. And I mean, for me and for priority, I really want to break down those barriers and get 5'5" girls on a runway, but it may not happen like the way I wanted to. And so just being realistic in what you look like and how you can fit in the modeling space and market yourself is because there's commercial work, there's high fashion, there's editorial, that kind of thing. So just being realistic on where you want to go is very, very helpful as well.
Yeah, and I mean, great advice. Yeah, be totally realistic, and then also understand that your job too is to break down barriers. I mean, for sure, no matter what. Because I look at this and I go like, this is a funny story. I was just writing about this when I first met my wife. I was already coaching, and she told me, she was a theater actress, and she goes, "I'm not pretty enough for TV," and I was like, okay, we're gonna change that. But she had told herself this in her mind, and she wasn't tall enough in her mind. She didn't have the right curves in her mind and whatnot. And so, and literally just like me beating positivity into her head, just like, babe, you are. She ends up being literally one of the most successful commercial actresses locally. Became a GoDaddy girl. Became the face of Tilted Kilt. She didn't walk the runway per se as a runway model, but she was invited 3 years in a row as a local celebrity to walk the runway for Phoenix Fashion Week.
See, I mean, it can happen. It absolutely can. And that's what Priority is here for. We want to be a part of that. We may be a drop in the bucket, but I mean, you never know when the industry may change. And even if it doesn't change, we're still going to represent you. We're still going to try to submit you for these roles or these projects that may call for traditional models and see where we can go. That's why I said we love our curvy girls. We love our short ones, and we're going to try to get them into spaces that they aren't traditionally seen in. So I agree with that.
Awesome. Okay, next question, Brad. You got another one?
Yeah, I got a couple, but I actually really quick want to ask her one based on this.
Okay.
So each agency definitely is different and has sort of their own styles. So Matt said, we send people out and just go like, feel your gut and what's right for you. And also I tell them everybody auditions you differently too. Like everybody kind of has their own style. So I'm just kind of curious about what your style is of auditioning and how people do reach out to you and what that kind of looks like.
Yeah, so you can log on to our website. We have a submission form, people to really fill that out. You can include your demo reel, you can include your resume, any past work that you've done. And some people they don't have any. And that's another thing that we kind of focus on as well, is developing people who may be interested in getting into it, but they don't have any work to show for it. So we take on newbies, but with actors that are interested and have a whole list of resume and commercial and print work that they've done, we do meetings. So before COVID happened, we would have a sit down somewhere else other than my house via Zoom. But now, since we're in this weird time in our society, I do Zoom meetings, and I like to just get to know you, and I want to see what your career goals are and where you see yourself going, and why having an agent is important. So it's just it's very kind of interview style, but also I do like to feel connected. If you feel connected to me, because I'm a big ball of energy and I like people to match that. And I also like to see if you're doing the work by yourself, if you're hustling, if you're scrappy, because I want my talent to match priorities, personality as well. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's not scary. We don't make you do a cold read. But when those times come, when we do get opportunities, we always like to work with our talent to make sure that they're prepared for it.
Awesome. Super cool.
Great. All right. Next online question, Bri guy.
We got Paul all the way from Nigeria.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And Paul would like to know, how's the best way to Nigeria? Yeah, we have a student in Nigeria.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's the best way to put out your work to get an agency with like minimal acting experience? So like Paul's just gotten started with us. So what would be his kind of steps? Is there any particular advice you'd give to him?
I would just say to market yourself in a way that may look like you're a professional actor. So like use social media. Build a website. It's always nice to have a website to log on to check out what you're working on and what you've done. If you have a small resume, that's okay. But just being active in posting things that may look like you're in training and you're doing workshops and you're doing small short films or student films or things like that, like small projects that you can work on to show that you're working and you take it seriously and you want it really, really bad. I think that can be helpful. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I gotta just shout out Paul here. So this is a great connection. He found us through Instagram through one of our other students, and we didn't know who he was and or where he was from or anything. And when I heard there was just this kid who reached out to our other student, I immediately said, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. He gets a free book, he gets a free class, and we're gonna have him on the show. And I didn't know anything. And then I get the his bio, and I'm like, oh, this guy's from Nigeria. How cool is that? and I tell you what, you're gonna love this kid. He is 16, going on 17. Just lights up the screen in our
never
acting
stops
classes.
Smiling, like literally never stops.
So
smiling.
I don't know how this would work, but I'm gonna put you on the spot here, live on TV. Can I have Paul direct message you on Instagram? And just kind of connect, because who knows, Priority Talent is going to go international one day, I imagine.
We're international.
Yeah. And nowadays with the way things are, there's going to be castings, I promise you, because we've already heard about them, that are going to come out that are going to be a Zoom casting for a Zoom job, for a Zoom commercial, and literally you're going to actually act from your own home. That's going to happen, and you need an agent to represent you. Like, that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely happening, and we're seeing that more and more, and I think it's so interesting, but it definitely opens up our agency to receive talent internationally or even in different states, here in the U.S. So I love it. DM me. Priority Talent, at Priority Talent on Instagram. We are, our DMs are open. So,
all right, you hear that, Paul? Paul, we got your back, buddy. We love you. All right, cool. Who's next?
We've got Devante, and he would like to know: do you have any age restrictions or age caps for your talent, or those who are interested in signing with you? And also, do you recommend training at Deering Acting Studio? Cry face, smiley face.
Cry face, boy.
Cry face, smiley face.
Okay, so age range, we represent 5 years old and up. So anywhere from 5 to 60s, 70s, 80s, we want you. So hit us up. You're never too old. I get that all the time. I feel like I'm too old or I don't have the look. No, Arizona is really, really great for different age ranges and different looks. So We love that. And then also, of course, I recommend.
What is she going to say?
Christ, I know,
What
right?
is she supposed to say? Like,
I got to come up with a really good emoji response. Like, if you have it.
Original orientation paperwork, I would have your guys' info. Like, hit them up, please. And go to that. Because I know how great you guys are with talent. And you guys are a big ball of energy and can bring that out of talent, even with just your castings and your auditions that you have. And you get people excited to be there and they're not nervous or scared or anything. And it's just, it's a good time. So I always recommend you guys for sure. And you know what you're talking about. You've been in the trenches, you know exactly what you're doing. So
and we love people. That's a thing too. I hope we're getting known for loving people, because that is the center of everything we do. It's right in our value statement that love is the center of every decision that we make. So so yeah, come train with us. If you haven't trained with us yet, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. I'll try and come up with
It's
a good
time now
emoji.
for Brian Sweeney's shameless plugs.
Oh, no. Shameless plug.
So we talked yesterday, and you let me know that you would be getting a new copy of "Acting Is My Day Job: 7 Strategies to Market and Make Money as an Actor."
You're gonna love it. You bought this book already on Amazon?
I'm buying it.
Great.
Right after this, and I encourage everybody else.
So buy the book, like you said, and you know what I'm going to do as a thank you for you buying the book and thinking about it. I'm going to send you 10 copies to the agency that you can give away to talent that come in to visit you and to see you and whatnot. So you're going to have 10 copies to give away, and I will sign you one specific copy that'll be just for you.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. And I think it's amazing. And I do have a question regarding just the title, the name of the book. Do you really think it's possible in the Arizona market for acting to be just somebody's day job?
I'm living proof.
You're living proof. Amen. Listen.
And so the answer is yes. And there are it's not like a lot, but there are actors in town that they make a really good living acting. Now, most of them, though, like myself and my wife, who work quite a bit, would also, like, because of just our personality, we like to do other things. Mm-hmm. So you know, of course, like there's multiple streams of revenue coming in, but it's like if I wanted it to be, yeah, like that could be the thing, but that's not really the point of the book. So the point of the book is, if you want this to be your career, acting has to be considered your day job. So this teaches you how to organize your life. It teaches you how to work, how to do step by step to get yourself out there, to market yourself, how to gather client information and follow up. And I mean, it's just like it's a really good informational how-to guide to maintain long-term success. And the idea is this: like, you're gonna have a job, probably, great. When your job's over, you go to work. And that's what you do. And I'm sure you can share this experience with me. But when I opened the studio, I had 3 jobs. So I had 2 jobs. One of them was at a golf course, and I'd wake up at 3 a.m. I'd be at the golf course at 4. I'd work till about 11 a.m. When the phone rang, I had 2 cell phones in my pocket. When the left pocket rang, I knew it was the studio. I'd go to the bathroom, answer the call, and I would take signups on the back of golf cards. I did what I had to do. And I showed my team here the tax reports from the first 2 years of our company. We were negative. So I was literally working another job. Yeah, I'm working another job just to pay everybody else. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. So you're doing, like, you're grinding and you're willing to do it. And the question is, do you believe it? So my point is, like, what I did was I had a job, but the studio here was my day job. I didn't consider the other one my day job. The other one was like, it was my job. This was my day job. Like, this is the one that, like, I have to do it. There's no question whether or not I'm going to do it or not. So, like, and this show is another great example of that. We just decided to do this. When coronavirus hit, we thought, okay, we're stuck. We're in acting school. Like, there's not a whole lot we can do. We got to shut down certain doors at certain times. Okay, so what can we do? I like to ask that question. What's possible? How do we turn this into a positive? So we're like, we'll give back. How do we give back? Let's do a show. Okay, great. So then we committed to that. Well, guess what? It's not easy to get up at 7 a.m. every morning. Like, you know, like I'm sure there's many times, you know, we didn't want to be here and whatnot, but then you get through it and you're like, okay. But without that, we just celebrated our 100th episode of the show. So it's like, you know, it's all about mindset. So this book is about mindset. Acting is my day job is a mindset. And I'm gonna give another offer just because we're going off on this.
All right.
Anybody who buys this book on Amazon and then tags back to the studio, we are going to give you Joey's latest online course for free.
Wow.
Boom.
So if you invest in yourself, if you invest in you, we're gonna invest back in you. And I believe in that, by the way. I think it's really important for people to put money down because it's so funny. The people who get scholarshiped and whatnot, a lot of times they're the ones that don't show up. So if you have some kind of skin in the game, then all of a sudden it matters more to you. So I believe if you actually buy the book, you're more likely to read the book because this thing isn't going to help you if it's sitting on your dresser.
Absolutely. This is awesome.
Okay, and speaking of shameless plugs, we have to go a little bit further here because we didn't get your website earlier.
Oh, it's prioritytalentagency.com.
That's prioritytalentagency.com.
I love that you were vibing with me on that. I was
for
like,
sure.
oh, I hope he's going to do it.
Yeah. All right, let's hit up
awesome.
Next question.
For me?
Yeah, I think we have one from online here, right, Braga?
Okay.
Let me check.
Or was that it?
That's it so far, yeah.
Okay, all right, great.
Okay, so let's see. What is probably the worst thing about working with agents and the best thing for you guys? And even like talent who are representing. Do you see a difference between those who aren't?
Okay, hold on. Is that two questions here? I'm trying to. So let me.
There's two of them, yeah.
Let me answer the agent one first, and then I'll have you re-ask me the second question. So, what do I like best about working with agents and worst about working with agents? Okay, so and this is right here in the book, which I debunk the myth about casting directors because casting directors have gotten a bad name and for a reason. Some of them are not nice. And some of them have done some bad things, and so like the industry's gotten like a vibe there. Well, that's not the casting director's job. The casting director should be kind, should make you look good because that should make them look good, ideally. But at the end of the day, truthfully, the casting director is a middle man or woman, a middle woman man, and so middle person is a middle person. Yes, and so. The idea being, though, like the director is going to make the decision. If the project gets pulled, which happens sometimes, like we'd have booked a talent, we've said, hey, we want to put you on hold, and then all of a sudden the client gets cold feet and they pull the spot. Well, that's the worst. That's the worst part about our job is calling an agent and going, by the way, the talent you already told has the job. It doesn't. Like, there's nothing worse than that. And then I would say on the reverse, my absolute favorite part is the call. Say, hey, so-and-so booked the job. Like it's, and we celebrate together. And it's just like this really fun moment. And so, Shay works with us. She's such a beautiful human being.
Oh my goodness. Can I just say how wonderful Shay is? Like, I feel like she's my soul sister and I'm sad she's not a part of this. We can talk to each other, but she is just out of the park, like so supportive, and she shows so much love to Priority along with you guys, and I can't thank her enough for the push she gives us. Like she helps me keep going.
She's incredible, and thank you for shouting out Shay because she really is. Shay Topol. She's out of town right now. She had a family thing she had to worry about, but or else she would be here, by the way. But her her heart is in such a great place, Shay, and so anyway, so she's on the front lines right now with all the agencies. So because she has to take the negative, I've gifted back to her. I was like, all right, you get to make the phone calls when this happy time, because it's like it's like your reward for all the hard work and all the sometimes stressful emails and different things. It's like, hey, you get to make the phone call that says so and so booked. Like that's the best.
Yeah, that is the exciting piece of it. I'm sure she loves that.
All right, good. So do you have any more? Oh yeah, and you had another question, right?
Two parts. So with that being said, do you see a difference between talent that's not represented and talent that is represented by an agent? And also, What does that look like? Is it a good difference? Is it a bad difference?
Both.
Is
And
it neutral?
both. And sometimes I notice the difference, sometimes don't. So the truth is, usually you don't get signed with an agency unless you have a particular skill set, unless you've worked hard enough to get to a particular skill set. Now, when we're trying to help people make it into an agency, what I tell them is not to care about landing the agent. And I mean that in a positive way. So my point is, like, I want them to get so good, so talented, that the agent would just be stupid not to sign them. Like, that's my mentality. So I'm like, that way you get signed, but it's like, yeah, no duh. Like, of course you're going to get signed. You're so good, but you're not focused on that, because the problem is, I think a lot of people, they put this they put this big thing on getting signed as if that's the end, and they're like, I made it. And it's like, no, the work just got started.
Yeah.
You know, you're brand new with an agency, and here's the deal. This is a business at the end of the day. So the agents know who books, they know who is going to bring in money and who's going to compete, and you have to earn that spot. And sometimes in the casting room, and I can tell you from our point of view, we sometimes only get a couple, and we'll say, hey, send us your 3 best. And so, you know, I got to put up 3 people that are going to compete against the big brand agencies locally, and you can't necessarily risk somebody brand new unless they're doing the work, they're showing up, they're proving that they're going to compete. So sometimes, and it can be a very good thing. Like, somebody walks in, I'm like, I can tell they're signed. And then sometimes I can go, I can tell they got signed 4 years ago, and then stop trying.
I'd like to jump on that part.
Sure.
That's something, and we talked about it earlier. If you make it about the thing, like the agent, then that's when you run into that trouble also. But we'll see that, where somebody will get signed and they start off and you got that like high, right? And you're like, yeah. And then you're like, okay, well, I made it, I'm great. And then you just stop. Like, you stop working. And the people who are great, just hands down, signed, unsigned, are the people that keep working. Are the ones that like never stop working and keep grinding. Like, those are the ones that you see over and over and over. And those are the ones, as the person in the front room, that you sit there, that you go, acting is their day job. Those are the ones that you want in the room, right?
Yeah. And I've seen it. I've seen it time and again where the prettier person loses, and the more talented person loses over time. So maybe today you lose if you're not quite as symmetrical, or you're not quite as talented. But if you continue to work harder, 10 times harder than the person who's above you, you'll surpass them. Like, it's a guarantee. Like, you eventually will start running laps around everybody else, because eventually the inside comes out, and you're so talented, we can't ignore you anymore. You take someone like Steve Buscemi, who's got crooked teeth and he's scraggly and whatnot, and you put him on screen because he's worked so hard, he can be a leading man, and you believe in it. He doesn't have to look like George Clooney to be the lead.
I'll also speak into this really just from me personally. Like, hey guys, like, there's things that make me, like, with my fingers, that you would think like I could get really into my head about it. Like, oh, there's no way that I could do this or whatever. And the truth is, I work really hard. I take Matt's master class, and so when I go out for something, if it fits, then it's gonna happen.
Well,
Like,
and back to like inclusivity, that clients are getting better about this. So there was right before this happened to Brian, by the way. So his story, it's interesting. We were running a casting. And so this is before he lost his fingers and toes, and before he went into the coma for 2 weeks, and we almost lost him. We were in the middle of a casting, and the casting
before Matt punched a hole in the wall.
Yeah. So
just a little thing.
So the casting was looking for somebody awkward, and Brian's like, I'm in.
Hey.
And so I was like, all right, dude, here's what you got to do, man. Take off your shirt. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, take off your shirt, like show off the awkward. And it was like you had to get into a hot tub and like be weird. That was the commercial. And it was like to be funny. And he was in a coma, but I get a call back from the person. They're like, we want Brian as our number 1. And I was like talking to him in the coma, I'm like, dude, get up, man. You got a gig.
You gotta go work.
Can I just throw out, which is so crazy? This was for a character in like their mid like 40s, and I'm like 20. at the time. So that's just, I was like, like I remember waking up and just going, that is so cool. Like,
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. And so owning who you are and being confident in who you are and saying, hey, nothing's going to stop me. And yeah, you know, like if they want to get a close up of someone's hands picking something up, maybe they don't pick Brian, or maybe they do. Maybe they're like, hey, you know what? It'd be cool to have Brian's hand pick up a Coca-Cola bottle, you know, and be like, boom. And you go, yeah, you know what? Because he drinks Coke too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the perfect hand, please. You know what I mean? So like, I love that. Love that story. And I think, you know, to answer your question, really, there's the difference between the people who are working on their craft consistently. And we usually, you know, we always recommend training, whether it be with us or anywhere else. But if you need to be in the classroom, you need and in the classroom daily at home too. Like you've got to make this a part of your day. If it's not every day, I'm talking 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, eventually 90 minutes. And then hopefully you get to earn the place where this does become your day job. And you get to say goodbye to the other job because this one's making you more money. And you go, okay, great. I don't want this. This was my side hustle. That one's gone now, and this is now my main source of income. So that's kind of the goal.
All right, and I hope all of my talent are tuning in and listening to this because I can say this stuff until I'm blue in the face. But I feel like it always takes somebody, some outsider, to say the same thing, and it'll click, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I need to put in the work. I need to do better. I need to go to trainings. I need to go to workshops, that kind of thing." So I hope they're listening. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to do this now. We're going to end the show with, do you have a challenge for our listeners? We've got a decent little following on Instagram. My wife's got like 10 times, so maybe she'll share it too. So
just to preface this, basically, you'd be
follow her.
What's that?
I said I need to follow her.
Oh yeah, no, she's hilarious. It's Leanne Deering, and then she's got a comedy duo called Leanne and Michelle, and I don't know, everything they put up goes viral. It's just crazy. Like she's just got that. She's, you know, I lucked out with that one. Okay, so what is a challenge you have for our listeners? And it could be, you know, some of your listeners or some of your people are probably listening too. So, so what would be a challenge you want to throw out that could like ignite us today to say, hey, like what's something we could do that's sort of easy and tangible that might be that we could throw on our Instagram.
And if you could, yeah.
So you're gonna start off with here's the challenge of the day from your name, Priority Talent, and then tell us what the challenge is.
All right. So what's up, everybody? Here's the challenge of the day from Sierra at Priority Talent Agency. I think it would be fun to tune into maybe a podcast, maybe a movie, maybe a show that kind of tells the story of a culture other than your own. So kind of jump in and dive into something new that you wouldn't normally click or watch or whatever, and kind of see if you like it. So I think it's important to support some storytelling that's going on right now of different cultures, and that also in turn helps bring about more projects that includes people from other cultures and more diversity and promotes more inclusion. So yeah, that is a challenge. So go on Hulu, Netflix, I don't know, iTunes, podcasts, that kind of thing. Find some form of media that supports another culture and dive into it.
Great. And then after you do that, we'd like you to share. So please just mention something on your social platforms and tag Priority Talent and Deering Studio, so we know you did it, and then we will give you some love from our platforms as well. All right, Joey, we want to show off the website here.
Yeah,
real quick?
I'm gonna show off her awesome website. So if you just check it out, you can see all these amazing headshots that just kind of rotate through. Super
Wow, that
clean.
rotates. That's like super cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
I would be so rude if I didn't shout out my father, Bill Guthrie, who did my website, the back end, the front end, the design, everything. I have so much support, and that man is amazing, and we're always developing and trying to make it better. But Without him, none of that would be possible. So shout out Bill Guthrie.
Yeah.
You'll get paid one day.
Beautiful. One day it will pay off. I'm sure it's already paying off for him. Those kids are so cute. Oh.
Thanks.
I forgot to tell you the hardest part about casting actually is narrowing down kids. Like I just tell Shay I can't do it.
Oh yeah, it's so hard.
They're so freaking cute.
I love them all. Yeah, I'm gonna just tell everybody right now. I'm sorry ahead of time. We are always late when there's kids involved because I always bring in too many because I just can't not see them. Like these kids want to just audition and I'm like just bring them in. Just like she's like 4 more. I'm like 8. Make it 8. Let's do it. So, all right. Well, this has been awesome, Sierra. Thank you so much for your time on the show. Really appreciate having you today.
Would you remind our audience as well about the giveaway that you've done for the book?
Yes. So, a reminder for the book here. First of all, Sierra is so graciously buying the book on Amazon. Thank you so much. And after you get that, then you can review us after you read it and tell me what you think. 5 stars, of course, is always good. But no. So anybody who buys this book and just tags us or DMs us that they prove that they bought it, Joey's going to give you a link back to his latest online course that we just put up, and it's going to be free for you. So you're going to get, I think it's a $35 value for, is that right, the price, I think?
Yeah.
$35 value for your $17 investment, and you're going to gain a lot of knowledge.
But you have to tag
over.
us and DM us at the studio so I know that you did it.
That's right.
Because otherwise,
and look,
you know.
Otherwise, how do you know, Joey?
Yeah, how do I know?
If you want to do the 5-star thing, like no one's gonna be mad at you. We talked about this. Like no one's gonna be mad. Like
Speaking
if you
of
want to
grinding,
jump on Amazon,
I got to tell you, this guy Joey over here, watch out, ladies. This guy's single. You would never believe it.
It's Matt's favorite thing to say.
Right? It's a surprise.
Good-looking dude.
Every day I'm like, how is it? Is he still single? But truth is, this guy grinds, and he is the reason all this runs and does what it does. Like he's learned on the job. Like him and I learned together, and he didn't go to school for it, so we went to the school of doing and learning and failing.
We went to the school of YouTube
and so
tutorials.
Speaking of his grind, he was like, dude, we're gonna do the book. So we now have an audiobook coming out of this. It's not out yet, but Joey recorded it. He learned how to master it for Audible, and so he's in the process of finishing that. It should be out within the next couple weeks, hopefully, depending on how long Audible takes to process it. But
yeah,
we're super stoked. But thank you, Joey. That's another big win.
I got you.
Okay, we are really gonna wrap the show now. I promise.
I won't. No, I'm kidding.
That is the Mornings with Matt show this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. That's a huge deal for us. Please subscribe to the channel and then share these videos. Share this video or any other that you feel impacted by you sharing. It helps us to continue to provide this light-driven content to the planet. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.